The COYGIG Pod and OTB Sports in association with Cadbury. A player and a half deserves a glass and a half of support.
Everyone ran their socks off tonight and they left everything out there. They're very proud of the team's performance.
Let the shackles off Katie a bit so that she can go and play her game.
We're going to go out there to beat them. We're going to try and beat them.
We said we were gone. We said we were going on a bit of a break, but we have some very exciting things coming up. So we decided to come back for a special edition of the COYGIG Pod to celebrate the fact that we were going to Vicar Street next week. Next Wednesday, we will be there with a host of special guests. August 17th, we will have friend of the pod, Emma Byrne, who we always love having on. Karen Carney, and legend of the game, and now one of the top pundits as well, will also be there. My favourite human, I think, in the footballing sphere, Ian Wright, will also be there, and we will have Michael Owen. And to celebrate this, and just so that I have an excuse to talk about how excited I am, we are going to do a little bit of a pod to pitch the whole thing to you as to why you're going to be there. Emma, I know you're coming as a fan yourself.
Yeah, purely as a punter. I'm not working that night. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it.
You will have a pint in hand while I'm up on stage sweating, trying to look Ian Wright in the eye and not collapse. And since we are so grateful to everyone who listens to the COYGIG podcast, we also do have a discount code. So if you want to come along next Wednesday and see me and Joe Malloy chatting to all those great people, if you use the code COYGIG whenever you go onto Ticketmaster, you will get 25% off, which is a pretty sweet deal if you ask me, especially considering the people that they're going to be on the show. Emma, who in particular are you looking forward to the most to see?
I'm going to say Ian Wright as well.
Yeah.
We've heard from Emma Byrne many times, and I'm interested to hear if she has a bit of a reply to when Heather O'Reilly was on OTB AM during the week. But Ian Wright, and after his Euro stuff, you know, he doesn't build up women's football just to be like, oh, isn't this amazing? He gets right to the root of the problems. He wants the game to grow, and I'm just always interested in hearing what he has to say. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
I did quite enjoy, he had a bit of a, I don't even know if you'd call it a spat with Lord Sugar on Twitter, where Sugar was giving off about the fact that, was it City or someone was playing in a pink jersey?
I think it was
like,
Arsenal, yeah.
Oh, it was Arsenal, sorry. And he was like, would Ian Wright ever wear a pink shirt or whatever? And then he appeared on TV the next day in a pink one, and I was like, Ian, you're too good. You're too good for us.
It's just the subtlety of it. It's just brilliant. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And then, yeah, like you've got Byrne and Karen Carney, who are just absolute legends.
Yeah, I was looking at Karen Carney's record, and I think because I've become so accustomed to seeing her as a pundit, I forget everything that she's actually done as a player. I mean, like UEFA Women's Cup winner, Community Shield winner, Premier League Cup, the Women's FA Cup 3 times, and then before it was the WSL, it was the Premier League National Division, and she's won that 3 times. Played for Arsenal, Chelsea, Birmingham. Like, she's kind of just done everything, hasn't she?
Yeah, like I'd put her there like in the same category as like your Farrah Williams, your Kelly Smiths, the people and the women that have basically started and got the game to where it is today. Like when you think of names from basically the last generation, if you want, they're the ones that spring to mind, and Karen Carney's definitely up there. And it's just a shame because she probably could have played for Ireland.
I know, I was reading an interview with her, I think it was yesterday, and it was ahead of when Sky started doing the WSL, and she was obviously there to promote it, but it was around the same time as the All-Ireland, and she was saying that she was a Mayo girl at heart, and that her dad would often prefer to watch like the GA rather than her, and she'll text him and ask, you know, are you watching me on the TV? He's like, no, there's football on.
So, you know, like, she definitely has the links there, and Nathan Murphy's probably just raging that he's not going to be there.
We'll have to get her take on who's going to be the new Mayo manager. Maybe she'll step in and
she might have a hot take on it.
Yeah, bring them to that elusive All-Ireland finally. No, what I like about her is that she switches so seamlessly between talking about like the men's game and the women's game, because obviously we're going to have Michael Owen as well. It's all the proceeds from the ticket sales are going to grassroots girls football, so we're going to have a big emphasis on women's football, but like we're going to be talking about Premier League, we're going to be talking about everything, and it's so great to have someone like her on, where she'll you'll be watching the Premier League 1 minute and she's covering all the top teams, and then the next minute she's doing the WSL, and her player knowledge is just insane. The depth of knowledge you have to do that so well is crazy.
I agree. I think she's definitely one of the top pundits at the moment. And yeah, the fact that we get to speak women's football with her and hear about the Premier League season, it's quite exciting as well. And obviously with Michael Owen as well, and he divides people. Let's just say that. I'm a Liverpool fan.
What's your take?
Well, I'm a Liverpool fan, so he obviously went to United, which taints that legacy for me. For me, Michael Owen could have been in the bracket when you list off Liverpool's greatest players of Gerrard, Dalglish, Torres, Suarez. Salah now is always mentioned in those, and Owen never gets a mention. But for one stage, and probably the best stage of his career, he did play at Liverpool. And then, just obviously what happens, all the story is that he did want to come back to Liverpool. It didn't happen. So ultimately he had to make a career decision and he went to United. So a lot of Liverpool fans can't quite forgive him for that. But, I'm probably a Liverpool fan because of the likes of Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler, because I was young and they were the players that were peaking.
And would you say you have forgiven him yet?
Yeah, I'm one that I don't I've forgiven Michael Owen, let me.
You're just saying this in the hope you get to meet him on Wednesday night.
2000 was a massive year for Liverpool, and he was a massive player during that 5 trophy season.
No, it is hard when those players go. Mixed emotions is probably the best way to describe it. And then we also have Emma Byrne coming on, who is a favourite of ours on the podcast. We've talked to her many times. We did our last episode with her reviewing the European Championships. I think Emma's so interesting because she doesn't hold back in what she thinks or what she feels. And I mean, we're on the cuffs now of maybe qualifying for a major international tournament, and she's probably the person that got us there. I mean, she was one of the first big players to head over to England to play with a team like Arsenal, to do everything that she did, and then also everything she's done within the FAI to actually get Ireland to a place where they're being sent to training camps now and they're not getting changed in airport bathrooms. So I think she's so funny and she's such good crack whenever she's on, but you forget that she's had such a massive impact and is probably one of the top people we have to thank for where we are right now.
She is one of the driving forces, and I know she's made appearances in her top 5 most influential male or female Irish players as well this week. And when you listen to the stories from our own Karen Duggan and Lisa Fallon as well, of her being that driving force, of her setting standards, of her tapping on doors with Anya O'Gorman to make sure that the women's game was pushed and getting to the forefront of where we are now, I think she's just vitally important. And yeah, she's a friend of the pod, and it'll be actually great to have her in person in a live environment and just hear some of the stories that she has to tell, as well as there's going to be we've just gone through players of Ian Wright, Karen Carney and Emma Byrne, and I'm just expecting some great Arsenal stories to come out of it as well.
Well, this is the thing, because I was looking at the lineup and I don't think I really copped until about yesterday how Arsenal heavy it is. And how much I'm just going to be sitting there for the night being like, this is great crack. I'll just chat Arsenal to the wall for the whole thing and I'll love it. But yeah, I'm intrigued to hear because they all came in at such different times as well, like compared to what is going on now. And you look at, say, Ian Wright being there on the men's side. I'm kind of interested to chat to him a bit more. Like, I don't know if he had all that much involvement with the women's side when he was actually in the club, but now obviously he's one of the biggest champions of it, both domestically and internationally. And just hearing more about the relationship he's developed with the club and with the game since he left. And also I'm just looking forward to Emma Byrne taking the absolute fun out of everyone and just having a bit of a laugh, because we've had her on the pod a few times, as we said, but also I've never met her in person. We've always done it over Zoom, and I feel like she's even larger than life in person than she will be on the other side of a Zoom call.
Yeah, it's just going to, like, we've done these roadshows before, and they just always take your guests to the next level. You know, it's been a while since we had a football, soccer, if you want to put it that way, live roadshow. So, you know, and Vicar Street's such an excellent place to have it as well. So yeah, the stories and the atmosphere is going to be just brilliant, and I just can't wait.
It's quite funny because the last time I was in Vicar Street was actually for one of these roadshows a couple of years ago, and now I'm like, wow, this is a bit of a turn up for the books that I'm going to be sitting on stage. Emma Byrne, Michael Owen, Ian Wright, and also we have another special guest who will be making an appearance on the night, who has not been named yet, but she is a friend of the pod. She is a very well renowned, very well respected Irish football player, so she will be making a little appearance on the night, which is very exciting. We like to, as much as we like to give you discount codes, we also like to tease you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how many hints can we drop to who this person is. I'm not sure how much we're allowed to say, but yeah, it's gonna add to it, and it's going to be exciting. Continuing
the club theme of the night.
Yeah, I think that says enough of who this person is going to be.
Yeah. And if you had to put one question to any of the guests, what would you ask, and who would you ask it to?
Oh my God.
And I swear this isn't just me making you do my work for me.
That's putting me on the spot right now. Michael Home, why did you go to United? Really? No. I'm probably interested to see what Emma Byrne has to say about the Heather O'Reilly situation, because she was in studio and she was speaking. There's a couple of parts of it, actually. One strand was that she was saying that her first memory of playing against Ireland wasn't so great because she went into a collision with Emma Byrne and ended up breaking her leg just before the World Cup. So that put her out of the World Cup. So there was a clash with that. And then also the fact that Emma Byrne has been in a FIFA Pro group with Heather O'Reilly, and all this Shelbourne stuff has come up, and she kind of linked to some chats going on when they're going through teams of who Heather could possibly reach out to. And yeah, so I'm interested to see just how much of a link Emma Byrne had in making that happen.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because I'm still scratching my head every time I see that Heather O'Reilly is playing over here. I mean, it's a great league and we talk about it so much. I just never expected a player like that to come over here unless they had some sort of connection to Ireland, or like their partner was here or something. So definitely going to be an interesting one to chat to her about. And I mean, we obviously want as many COYGIG listeners there as possible. So just to say again that if you do want to join us on the night, Vicar Street, August 17th, next Wednesday. And if you use the code COYGIG, you will get 25% off tickets. And also all proceeds from the night will be going to girls grassroots football, which is something that we are massive supporters of here on the show. So not only will you be getting a great night, some great laughs, some great insight into the footballing world, you'll also be supporting a very, very good cause. So please do come and join us. And if you do have any questions or anything that you might want to ask, get them into us. Tweet me, tweet at Off the Ball, #COYGIG, and we will see what we can do on the night. Thanks so much for joining me, Emma.
No problem. I look forward to the new season.
The COYGIG Pod and OTB Sports in association with Cadbury. A player and a half deserves a glass and a half of support.